Hello and welcome to the AGLA podcast. It's back, episode 22. This is the Sorry in Advance podcast. For everything that's said in this podcast,
We're sorry in advance.
we're sorry in it. All right. So I got my normal co-host back from the dead, off LOL and off all the games he plays besides Griffball. J-Bar, aka Overweight Tank, Overweight Goat, all the name changes included.
Oh yeah, the greatest. Yeah,
The greatest of all time.
Yeah.
AKA Goat. And special guest, hold on, what we got here? What are you now? Okay. The Piggies,
Yeah.
aka Breezy Bubbles, aka
Please no.
XP52
Oh
Piggies,
my God.
aka the Bree, whatever else.
the bacon, the
Wasted.
cheese, the oinker, the porker.
All the money is wasted on gamer tags that still mean the same thing.
Please, they've all been good. All but one. I regret one.
You should
Oh.
definitely
We
back
don't-
to Breezy Bubbles. I hope no one stole that.
No, we don't talk about that.
All right.
It was so
So
bad.
we've been gone since January of 2014. We've missed 2 seasons, so we have like a lot to talk about. So yeah, J-Bar's back. I know there's like 6 podcasts out right now, but
We blame the podcast being RIP on J-Bar. It's perfect way to get out of
Well,
the
I didn't
situation.
say it was RIP because of you. Basically, it was RIP because I had stuff,
Grown up stuff.
grown up stuff,
Yeah.
too much work, and trying to do it on overnight stuff. But I go back to days soon.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we missed what? We missed we missed Spring League. Spring League didn't matter because I didn't win.
Yeah, of course.
Fun next season. No. I took up captaining one hit wonders, and we got the pig, we got rage,
Yeah.
we got the D-Cleek, and bourbon and Chad. It was a fun season. Well, last season, let's see here. Pro Run, Retroactive, and One Hit Wonders made it to the playoffs for our side. We beat Retroactive in 3 games, and then we lost to Pro Run. Pro Run went on to beat Impulse in the championship. It was I don't think it was a really close game. It was two game series, and Impulse had beaten Notorious, who had beaten Uplifted. Pretty positive. So yeah, Pro Run won last season with Digital Pain, Man Cannon, Yug, and Easy 08. That's about as much detail I really need to go
Pretty
into.
much the team was overpowered, and not many other teams could compete with them having easy. And
But
it was
that
just
was when
unfair.
Digital was like in his golden age of just destroying. Like he'd be going against like the top tanking teams and still dropping like plus 40. So I don't know
Yeah.
what happened.
He was
going-
cheating, obviously.
Cheating,
No, obviously cheats.
up, down. Talk
Well,
about that.
he still had the Easy contract from before CCVs, didn't he? Like Easy was the contract carried over, and then we did CCVs. So
Yeah, but he was still undervalued because Easy was only at like 270 that season
yeah.
somehow.
So
Still,
good
but got
contract.
that traded the Digital for Determined, and then
Yeah.
that was still from that. So,
Okay.
yeah. So Pro Run won, third different champion in 3 seasons, Hybrid Theory, then One Hit Wonders, then Pro Run. Bringing us into this season. Last season ended with me, Pig, Tuna, and Vanny as admins. It ended very
Abrupt, short,
what's the
hostile, volatile.
basically we're like, yo, here's the deal. We're gonna keep like an admin around for some consistency and leadership. Here's how we're gonna do it, and then the forums exploded 150 pages later.
Oh my God.
No person was coming back as admin, and we
Nope.
were doing all elections. So yeah, and then we had elections, and Alpha Turtle, Sam, Cannon, Rage More Nerd, and Noplex won with Sonic as commissioner. Let's see, we had a survey. I don't remember what we got. We got like a 3.5 or 4 out of 5 for
I
approval
think
rating.
it was a 4 out of 5, but yeah, it was somewhere around there.
Yeah, I realized it was a lot better than I expected it to be, considering all
Yeah.
the slack. But I guess when 10 people okay, when 10 vocal people are always upset, that doesn't mean the entire community is upset. But I think what we did best was we were always informative about what's going on and what decisions we made, whether they were terrible decisions or good decisions. So people always knew what we were doing, which helped us and probably hurt us. We could have just kept it quiet and everyone would have thought everything was great, but we didn't. And I think this new admin team took on that idea of the community doesn't need to know everything, which probably helped them, but I don't know if that was the best thing for the community. But either way, we can talk about that or how they did. I don't know if you, J-Bar, if you actually even paid attention to what was going on with the admins and all that.
You see, the thing is, that's why I have you, my friend,
Yeah.
to tell me about all the shisty, shady stuff going around the corners.
You find all the good information. I find all the
I work the underground. You work the behind the scenes. Therefore, you got the high, I got the low. We got it all. And now we got the pig in here for some bacon flavor. Everyone loves bacon. No problem with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, half-breed, damn it. Go ahead, Shadow.
All right. So, adminning. I guess we can touch on this season. Any changes that were made? Not really. They adjusted reschedules a little bit, gave people a limited amount. It didn't seem to have any issues. Because there was complaints about one hit wonders how many reschedules we used last season, which was like 9. They adjusted reschedules. I don't think there was many issues other than I know T-Rain submitted a reschedule for our team, sent it to Sonic, but then that never got forwarded through the right way through the request. So
I honestly felt like T-Rain was just trolling this whole season. Like he was just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna reschedule this and reschedule that," and it's like, "Oh, I don't care. I do care. I'm gonna win the championship."
He cared until Martin RIP'd, I think. Once Martin RIP'd, his season kind of went down the drain, and he was kind of just like, "Yeah, whatever." It seemed like, but because Martin, I don't know if this is 100% true, but I know random stuff. He was dating somebody. They didn't want him to play games anymore, so he sold his Xbox completely, and then she broke up with him anyway. So he was just left without an Xbox.
Oh my god!
I heard that on another podcast.
That's
not true.
That's 110% true.
Yeah, that's what happened.
From the underground community. Yes, can confirm.
If somebody sold their Xbox for you, like, come on, like that.
Commitment.
Didn't even have to get her a ring after that.
Oh my god.
I sold this Xbox $50 and I got you a ring on eBay. Here you go. So his season went down the drain, but for adminning, I don't know. I'm sure Pig has stuff to say because she's raging. So
I was so mad. I mean, they did a good job, but like all they had to do was just basic admin stuff. Like last season, we had to rewrite all the rules. We had to do CCVs. We had to figure out like home and away stuff. I mean, if we just had to do basic admin stuff and not rush to get everything done, like we would have been fine.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of positives. I think the main negative complaints I've heard from people is there was no disputes committee. They didn't like admins making decisions on games, especially when the admins were involved in the league, as in being captains and players.
Yeah.
So people really wanted a disputes committee and they didn't get it. People have complained because they've asked questions in the forums that have gone unanswered for like days at a time. I would say that's the only, like I said earlier, no, never mind. I'm an idiot. That's one of the positives of our admin team last season, aside from all of the quote-unquote negatives that people threw on us, was that we told people basically everything, and I felt like we were very available for questions all the time. Like I was saying, I think we were all sleeping or something, or we just weren't available. And they asked a question at like 11 at night, and by like 6 a.m. there was like 4 more posts that were like, "You gonna answer our questions?" And I was like, "Can you give me a minute? I was sleeping." And they're like,
Could I
"Yo,
get
calm
some
down.
sleep here?"
They're just trying to ask questions. Don't have to get all pissed
Oh
off."
no.
Yeah. And then this season, I see like questions going answered for like 4 days. So sometimes I try and answer them to help out because I know how it is. So I'm not gonna throw them under the
Yeah.
bus. Like if they're, I get it. You have a life. You don't have time to get on the forums every 10 seconds and answer questions.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing that people would be upset about is posts would happen after that, and then they'd have to repost their question like 8 times, and then they would just kind of get met with sarcasm or blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But that's just hearsay. I can see both sides. Whatever. I was in both positions, both situations, and I don't want to be a hypocrite. So, yeah. So I guess the only, and then the negative of a lot of the behind the scenes stuff happening that never got brought into the community, which I feel is important because if you want to be transparent and you want to know what decisions are being made by who, because as it is right now, if they're making the decisions behind the scenes, not letting the community know what decisions are being made and who they're being made by, then how do you really know who to vote for next season?
Right.
So that's why I really, really, really dislike the AGLA admin
Oh my god.
account. Like use it for announcements. Use it for no, that's about it. Use it for announcements. That's about it. Like don't or decisions on disputes. Maybe no, because like I was saying to Taylor Can last night, I want to know exactly who is saying yes or no to a dispute. That way, they are forced to have to give a legitimate answer, not just oh, it was a vote 3-2. I want to know who voted 3, and I want to know who voted the 2, and I want to know why. That's why there should be a dispute committee. IMO.
Yeah. I agree.
There's a lot of people who could who are interested in being on a disputes committee. You literally have volunteers lining up asking to do it. So I mean, why not? But takes time away from the admins to where they don't have to do it. So I mean, it should be a win-win for everybody. But we'll see if they do that next season. Do you guys know of any candidates that are applying that are decent?
No.
No,
They
neither.
haven't really released any like information. Well, I mean, they just opened them up a couple days ago.
I've been trying to get discussions going in the admin thing, but it just seems like people don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yo, somebody talk about contracts and all this stuff that they're proposing changing that I hate, and let me know what you think. And then literally there's like no post after that. I'm like, oh, okay. Sounds
well, I know Melvin posted a huge wall.
That's right.
But he's the only one, honestly. I don't know. I don't even know who
Melvin's
else is
running for admin?
Yeah, I think he is.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
That's what. Jeez. A zombie's gonna come back and he's gonna run the league. Okay, that's great.
So yeah,
can't be any worse than a 2-season AGLA player, right? Shots fired.
Uh-oh. All right, let's see what you did there.
I wasn't exactly towards you, but.
Oh, I now I see what you did there.
Yeah,
right.
You were actually on your 3rd season, but I'm glad you could do math on the quick. Keeping it up. I know you only have a pig brain, but come on.
Oh, okay.
3-2. Problem.
Bada bing.
Oh
yep.
no. Bang.
So don't just be appointing people because you felt like it.
Oh no. Oh no.
She's just gonna keep saying a bunch of things.
I had to be like, Pig, calm down. Just take deep breaths before you make a post.
I was so mad.
It's what you did every time. You'd get really angry, and then you'd post a bunch of stuff, and then you'd be like, I'm sorry I was so angry, and said that you're a fucking idiot, and that I hate all of you. I don't really hate it.
I'm sorry I tore your face off. Here, have it back. I'll help you put it even back on. Here you go.
Yeah, I mean, it was ridiculous, but I was mad, and I was mean, and then I just felt bad. So I was like, I can't just be mean.
You let out the beast. You saw what he did, and then it was like, oh shit, I better help clean this up because the beast went back in the cage, and the Bree was out, and she's like, fuck, I made a mess. And you're such a nice person. You're like, I gotta clean it up. I gotta do this. Well, realistically, you don't have to, but you did it anyway. So it was good on you.
I know what it's like though. Like I know what it's like to be admin, and I know you can get frustrated really easy. It's just, I don't know. That set me off. But then I was like, you know what? They're probably having a tough time too. So
yeah,
they can't be having that tough of a time, okay?
We
because
had a. Well,
what?
no, I guess not. Yeah, go ahead.
Like, all right, the season that you guys were admins, give it, you guys were better. I was closer with you guys than these admins were now. But even like Vanny, I'm really even friends with her. I had a problem, went to her, she dealt with it, and blah blah, whatever else. This season, I get some bullshit happen to me. Well, it's understandable. I'm an asshole, troll, whatever you guys like to label me as.
Wait,
I
what happened?
I got from the season before.
Oh, you got
I
a
got
warning.
I got flagged or something for the next bid league.
Yep.
I would say that was bullshit. I was like, you didn't understand the situation, blah blah, whatever else. Let me explain myself. So the only person that eventually Albert Turtle was going to be my captain later that season. He even said he was going to pick me up. He didn't even help me deal with this problem. Rage More Nerd eventually was the only one to help me, and I was trying to get myself unflagged. Talked to Rage More Nerd, didn't hear anything about it for the next week or so, and then it turned out nothing happened. I didn't get a result. I didn't get a vote. I didn't get shit from the admins. It was just like, you're flagged, and that is what's gonna happen. I was just like, well, I'm already going for 10 credits anyway. Why the fuck you gotta fuck with me? Like, who the fuck?
See, and that's the thing. Like, with nobody around, well, with the quote unquote, and I never would label anyone this unless they label themselves as, with the quote unquote dream team of complainers gone, there's nobody to care anymore. Not to care, but it's just like, you know what, I see shit happen. Like, I maybe brought stuff up once or twice because people are texting me while I'm not involved at all. People are texting me being like, yo, I just found out X, X, and X are happening, and it's basically going to be turning into X, X, and X, and you need to not let that happen. And I'm like, hey. So I go and post in the forums, and like, what's an example? Like Saints. Somebody tells me they're going to completely bypass the decision that was made last season, and they are going to completely unban Saints. And dating back to last season, I was actually in favor of lowering Saints' ban to not an indefinite suspension, but like a temporary, I don't know, like 16 games in playoffs or just something to where he could still at least kind of stay in the game.
Yeah.
And the rumor, and it wasn't really a rumor because they sent me the exact screenshot of what's happening, was they're going to completely unban Saints. And I was like, nope, that's ridiculous. So I go on the forums and I try not to sell people out while at the same time trying to get a direct answer. That way, if they gave me a direct answer, they couldn't go back on the word. So I sit there and I'm like, listen, yo, can somebody let me know what the deal is with suspensions from last season? How they're carrying over, for sure that they're carrying over. People might want to know before bidding. So like, nothing like me, nothing bad yet. And then they just continue to basically BS me because they kind of know what I'm doing. And they're like, yo, it's a maybe. Like, we might do this, might do that. And I'm like, okay, well, I just want to know, like, Saints, Killers. I added in the other ones because I didn't want to just mention Saints. So I'm like, Saints, Killers, Nako. Like, their suspensions are still this for next season. That's all I got to know. Just a yes or no. Is that what the suspensions are? And they're like, yeah, it's possible. And I'm like, no, like, can you just please give me a straight answer? It's not that hard. But then once people start seeing that, they start coming in the forums like, Shadow, if they're just giving you an answer, man. But like, at the same time, I can't be like, yo, listen, somebody specifically told me this suspension's going away. Couldn't say that. So basically, here's Shadow looking like a dick in the forums. Like, I'm ironically doing the same thing they did to us last season, and then people were getting mad and no one was there to back us up last season when somebody was doing that. So I thought that was kind of whatever. I won't get into that. But either way, I'm doing the same thing they're doing to me last season. I'm just like, listen, just want a direct answer. Just let me know, are those suspensions staying? And basically, I think one of them finally was like, yeah, okay, like, that's the plan. I was like, I just want to know if you're discussing it, because if you're discussing it, I want to know why. And I want to know if there is a possible plan to get rid of Saints suspension, because if so, I don't feel that's right, and we can just discuss it right now, and I want it to be public information, because I think all decisions like this should be transparent. But either way, way too many people were getting mad, and I was just like, okay, whatever, I don't care. And then Cannon ended up texting me and being like, what was your feeling on Saints in general? I was like, well, I feel like if we give him a shot, he can change. I know we've given him a lot of shots, a lot of second chances, but I understand his situation, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. So I would say, like, probably somewhere between 12 games or so, like half the season, and then also don't let them play playoffs. So it gives them a chance to play, but not really have an impact on the league as a whole. So like he'll still be able to stay around. But then I guess they needed a unanimous decision. I guess that's how it went. It wasn't like a vote if they got 3-2. I guess they wanted a complete unanimous decision to unban somebody like that, and they decided to keep him banned. And then since then, he's still not really done what he needs to do to get back in the league. So I don't even know where he is at this point. I know I'm still on his number 2 most hated list. So
I don't really have a beef with Saints. I never really talked to the kid. Don't have a problem with them. But if someone like that was to get unbanned, like even after he gets in trouble or before he gets in trouble, and just the shit he does, the line that's drawn in my mind for the AGLA, if he was allowed back in, I would do so much worse shit than I already do, and there would be so many other people that could do so much worse shit. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a terrible person, so some of the shit he does, I laugh at it because I find it hilarious. Like he's done some pretty fucked up shit and put it on Twitter and stuff, and I cried my eyes out because I thought it was hilarious. Now that's me. Normal people would be like, wow, that's so fucked up,
you
blah,
can
blah,
think
blah.
something is hilarious because of the shock factor. Like, wow, I can't
exactly. I don't find what he posted hilarious, but I'm just like, holy shit. Like, I can't believe
you
he
see
did that.
And you're like, oh my God. And it's funny because it's I can't believe that was just posted. But at the same time, then you're like, well, you can't do that and
want to play in the AGLA. Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
No, so the fact that that was even brought up is ridiculous because if he was allowed back in, I'd take a season off and I'd do some stuff that I'd love to do, who I've played with this in this league for 6 years. But I haven't gone that far, mainly because I got a goose checker watching over me at all times and all the admins. But it's just a line you can't cross, and he's chilling on the other side of the line at all times. Sometimes he comes back.
You're on thin ice already, apparently.
Me?
Yeah, you got the asterisk in your name.
Oh yeah, I told you.
I know, you're one step away from Saint status.
It's bullshit.
So basically, yeah. So there was that, and then there was Silva didn't want to give the AGLA stream code or account to the admins. I'm not sure why. I don't know if I got that full part of the story, but he was procrastinating, I guess, on giving it over. And so the admins were gonna ban him.
What?
I don't know if that's the way to go about things. We'll ban you unless you give us the code. I can see why we'd want it. It's property of the quote unquote AGLA. It was given from Caleb to Cheka. I don't know how the.
Oh, Silva said.
No, Rocky's made it. I think.
Silva said he made it, and I think the reason he was worried about giving it is because he was. I mean, this is a guess. He didn't say this to me, but maybe they were gonna change the password because I know they did that for the Twitter or something.
Yep.
So but I'm 99% sure he made that Twitch account. So.
Yep.
I don't know.
So it was kind of his. He always used it, put in the work into it. So I could see why you wouldn't want to give it away, and I could see why the league as a leadership would want it because it's it should be for league stuff. I don't know if the way to go about it is banning somebody.
Yeah, it sounds like
I would have
in a measuring contest.
Somebody like
yeah.
me and possibly been like, can you convince Silva? And I could have been like, hey, can you guys let Silva have the password as well because it's his account, and it could have been something where it could have been mediated, not give us this or else. And I'm not sure exactly how it was handled because everything I'm talking about is hearsay because this is a podcast, and that's what happened. But I think it's good that people know things. So that's why they're being talked about. And there was also talk that when one admin didn't vote in the way that they wanted the admin as a whole to vote, they possibly made that person resign, I guess. Is that the word, or is that how it happened? Or
they put him on, I would say probation. He was still an admin, but he was he had an asterisk by his name.
Oh, he's way like J-Bar. They put an asterisk on it.
Yeah.
They're handing those things out
they're
like candy.
Yo, this isn't a
Fucking
matter
lollipops at the bank, yo. Like,
This
oh,
isn't a matter of opinion. This is a matter of you accidentally chose the wrong vote, apparently, so you have an asterisk. You should have voted yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh
no.
You remember when we got called a dictatorship?
I do. I've thought about that a lot.
Don't
Like,
get fired up.
okay, no, I'm sorry. I'll calm down. We're good.
So yeah. But I mean, like I said, I guess I'll just keep saying they did good overall, and I like all of the admins. But no leadership position comes without criticism. So I hope they don't get mad when this stuff is talked about, but they might. Like Noplex had gotten mad the one time when the whole Saints thing come up because it was bringing a lot of criticism in towards the admins, and I know not all admins are in favor of the team decision.
Right.
Like, for instance, I don't even know if this is an actual thing. Like Noplex and Rage could vote one way, and Can and Sam and Alpha could vote the other way, but it would be unprofessional for Rage and Noplex to throw the other three under the bus. So they have to take the flack for the decision that was made, even though they didn't agree with it, which does suck as an admin.
Yeah,
it really does.
That's the worst part, in my opinion.
You're not going to throw the other people under the bus because that's just shitty. You don't do that. But at the same time, you have to sit there and defend the decision that was made, even though you are on the side of the people complaining.
Right.
That sucks. So, like I said, admin's not an easy job. I talked to Noplex. Everything was worked out. I'm like, listen, this is just, it's how it has to happen. I have to give my opinion. I'm not trying to throw you guys under the bus. I understand you might not agree with it, but you have to deal with it. So, not everything I say is always taken positively, and sometimes they don't come off the right way. But
sorry in advance.
Yeah, that's our motto now. Sorry in advance. I mean, all we gotta do is before all my posts now, it's gonna say sorry in advance for whoever gets mad at what I'm about to say. But then there's that, and then there was a few problem with the reschedules, a few problem with people not wanting disputes. But then, was there anything else that happened? You got the brain.
So.
No, that's it.
That's pretty much it. I mean, they did a good job all season. There's just a few hiccups. If
they
even
didn't make any like stupid decisions like we had. We had a few stupid decisions that were just like, oh, that was a really big mistake. Whoops. But like I said, I felt they had a lot more not time. They went in with like a steady structure and only had to add on to it. We went in with no structure and had to redo everything.
Right.
Trying to rush through everything is what got us in trouble. But
well, I mean, and we did a lot of stuff to like kind of prepare for them to come in and take over. Like we had a lot of information there for them.
At the end of the season, so I know at one point Vanny was upset, and you might have been upset at one point. I was like RIP, like wasn't able to do work because working overnights and then trying to catch up on group text during the day and then sleeping all day. It was like impossible for me to do work unless I was actually at work trying to do it, which is also hard.
Yeah, so, I mean, I wasn't upset with you guys. It was just, just being an admin just sucks in general.
Yeah.
Especially when it was such an inexperienced team at that, and you guys were doing all this shit. I mean, legitimately, out of the admin team, no offense to anybody, but I'm just saying, Shadow had the most experience at what you guys were doing, hands down. And most of you guys were new to what was going on.
I had the most experience, and I was by far the least available. While they were doing stuff during the day, I was sleeping. I'm on overnight, so I would sleep all day, and then I would miss out on a lot of the areas where I could give advice or be like, whoa, no, don't do that.
But even then, like Sonic and Tex should have. I mean, I like them as people. I like Sonic and Tex as people, but they just weren't around. Like they just weren't available. It felt. I don't know. Like they didn't go on the forums a lot, and I don't know. But it would have been.
They were in the same situation. They were burnt out, and it's.
Oh yeah.
I know sometimes you don't want to let go of doing stuff, and you want to still help, but like. Last season, it was a good decision for me to step down, especially being on nights, especially with it taking up too much time of my life, which almost led to me stop playing completely. So it's you got to know when to just be like, hey, I have the passion to want to put in enough time, but I don't have enough time. So it sucks, and sometimes it's hard to say, yeah, I'm done, but you kind of gotta. And then going into the last part, closer towards the end of this season, because we got to hurry up and stop talking about admin. They suggested like a second term for certain people to keep consistent leadership, which got some negative feedback because that's exactly the type of thing we suggested last season and was shot down by the same people who are suggesting it this season. So I guess you could see where the negative feedback is coming from, but at the same time, you could also think that, okay, well, maybe now that they've been admins, they can see why it was a good idea. They couldn't see that before because they weren't admins and couldn't really see anything other than they wanted elections.
Right.
So I mean, they did still have some type of like election type deal, but I mean, with them not being transparent enough, that would be my only negativity towards them, as they weren't transparent enough. I feel like every decision that is made should be posted in the forums at all times. If they completely get rid of a advisory committee that I was going to do before I quit doing all that, if they're going to completely get rid of an advisory committee and then take on their own of True Flying Cow, Lightsaber, and One Hawk, they should let the community know if they're going to like get rid of Tuna, get rid of Silva, and I wasn't around. If they're going to get rid of those people and say they don't want them as an advisory committee, like the community should be known who's helping make decisions for the league. So if
Right.
Flying Cow, One Hawk, and Lightsaber have access to the AGLA admin forums and they're giving advice and they're possibly weighing in on league structure and decisions that are going to be made, people should know who are making the decisions and why they're being made, and if there's possible bias, if there's possible corruption. That's why everything should be posted in the forums at all times. So that way, next season, when I vote, I know who and why I'm voting for these people, not just I'm voting for them because it seems like they did a good job. I want to know who did the good job, who did the work, who did a lot of the work. Like if, let's say Rage was literally doing nothing. I know he does a lot, but let's just say he was doing nothing. I need to know who did the most work. I need to know who to reelect. If it's just a team running, at the same time, I know the admins don't want to throw each other on the bus, but I need to know who is specifically doing all the work. That's why everyone should do everything from their main account. They should post when they are personally working on something, like you guys did. Like you guys personally like redrafted up the rules. I like helped with like the discussion in the forums, but then like you guys made it all fancy, and then like you guys posted it and said, okay, here's what me and X are working on. It's just it's a lot easier to vote if you know who you're voting for and why.
Yeah, I mean that's the only way you really know who's doing what, anyways, is how much they're interacting with the community. Because like I don't know, like what you said, Rage could be doing a lot of work, just not posting.
Like last season, people thought I was doing a lot only because I was in the discussions when problems were made or whatever. It looked like I was doing a lot when really I probably did the least amount of work. If I'm going to be honest, I mean I did. Like you guys always had stuff done generally on time. Sure, a few mistakes were made, but like you guys ended up probably doing more work. But people were like, "Oh yeah, Shadow did fine," but I mean like these other people were just. And I'm like, no. That's not really how it was at all. But it's hard to get there. But changes going into next season that Rage has been talking about. If you're a potential admin, please go post in the forums so I know if I'm going to vote for you or not. Because if you don't say anything, I'm probably not going to vote for you. Because if you're not going to put in the effort to even make posts in the forums, I don't think you're going to make a good enough effort to be an admin. So far, Melvin has made a post. So Melvin, you're at like the top of my list right now.
Good job, Melvin.
That's the thing. So Shadow supports Melvin until other people make posts. They've suggested increasing the league to 16. I know Rage has. I know he's a big support of it. I think it's an absolutely terrible idea. Sorry, Rage. Right now, we don't even have 12 quality pro captains, so there's no way we're going to get 16 quality pro captains at this point. We're struggling to get 12. So increasing it to 16, yeah, you get the benefit of having a 4-team playoff, so no team gets a bye, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. And also, they want to lower the roster size to 5 for whatever reason, which I also don't think is a good idea. And then if any of those things happen, they have to reset the rosters and get rid of the contracts that are currently active, which I also think is a terrible idea. And I know a lot of other people think it's a terrible idea. I don't think I'd put myself in a situation to where I would say, like, if I'm not contracted by Next Dimension, I'm not playing. I don't want to come off like that. But as it is right now, if there's absolutely no reason I shouldn't get a contract, and I don't really want a chance putting myself back in the bid pool and playing with a team next season that I'm not going to have fun on, and I don't have time to captain. I don't know if I'll play. It's not an ultimatum. It's more of just like it's a preference. If I'm playing for next dimension, I'll probably play. If I'm not, I don't know. But we'll see. I know J-Bar's on. I don't know if you're going to get a contract, J-Bar, but you know.
Oh, I'm not getting a contract. I know that for sure. My team was a freaking it was chaos again this season. It's like, and you want to lower it down to 5 people? We would have forfeited at least 10 games this season if we didn't have a 6-person.
That's a problem. Like you'll lower the roster size, so they'll say like the 6th man never matters. That's what the argument is. The 6th man never gets enough playing time. But like that's the captain's fault. That's not the structure's fault. The captain needs to get the people to playing time. If you want to add a minimum game rule, okay, whatever. But with how many AMI call-ups are already used with only a roster size of 6, having that many AMI call-ups to play in pro games like defeats the purpose of the pro circuit in general. Like we're supposed to be quote unquote not the GGL or the AGLA with no subs. That's exactly what you're turning the bid league into if you're going to lower the roster size. You're going to turn the AGLA into the bid league with subs. So like, why is there a sub playing every game? Oh, because one person can't make it and we can't get our starting 4 on every game. Like, it's not a good idea.
I mean, after last season, which, I don't know, at least I got a good amount of playing time, and I'd say it was probably one of the most competitive seasons I've seen as of lately.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like 2 powerhouse teams, you know what I'm talking about? Like in previous seasons, going way back, like it was one-hit wonders and hybrid theory, you know? And I felt like nobody else had a fucking chance.
You got in on 9 games this season, so that's not bad.
Yeah. So this season, you know, I felt like everyone was like sitting around 12 wins, like, you know, around there, give or take. You know, the powerhouse teams were still there, but they weren't as scary. You know, it was like, oh, it's next dimension.
We were 20-4, but like we lost twice to retroactive. But yet, like we beat Notorious twice, who beat Hybrid Theory once and Impulse once, who lost twice to One Hit Wonders, who lost to you guys. So it was like certain teams matched up well against other teams. There were still teams that were good records. Like we were in the hardest division and ended up being 20-4, but we still never beat retroactive, and then retroactive like never beat. I don't know. I don't remember the exact teams who played who, but like it was a more
one hit wonders.
Yeah, so I mean like teams beat other teams, like one hit wonders beat retroactive, but like never beat us in the regular season. Then gave us a run for our money in the ship. But
it was a very competitive season. My point. And the next season, you know, if without change, would maybe mirror. You know, last season. Probably not, but there'd be a higher chance. With all these changes they want to make and everything else like that, and they didn't have me or Beam Me Up on the bench, where it was very important for me or Beam Me Up to always be available to play in our games. Because if we didn't, we'd be calling up an Ami kid. Now, I'm not the best, and I don't know if Beam Me Up's better than me, but we're not the best bench players in the world, but I guarantee you either one of us would shit on any AMI kid we were going to pull up into that game. And going into a game against Next Dimension, practically 3v4, is just guaranteeing yourself a loss, and it's stupid. It's dumb.
It is, and it's even worse when there is a good AMI kid, and then that kid just plays like 35 league matches because he's gotten pulled up to play like 20 games. It's stupid. Keep AMIs and AMIs. Let pros scout. I mean, if a few AMI call-ups happen, so be it. But like, there's no reason to change anything right now. We don't need to. Like people, I keep saying we don't need to change, and I keep getting the reply, well, we don't need to. Yes, but it can be improved. Like yes, but it doesn't need to be improved, and it's a matter of opinion on whether you think you're improving it or not. It's not like a guaranteed like there's an improvement that needs to be made in the bid league, and here it is. It's not that. It's a matter of opinion. It's not a fact. If it doesn't need to be improved, keeping it the same is an improvement in itself because the bid league is just going to keep getting more competitive. Adding 4 more teams and lowering roster size is not going to somehow magically make it more competitive than it is now.
There's a difference. Sorry.
CCV was like a thing. Like that's an improvement. That's
my point.
An improvement. There's no other way that's that there's no other way that it would be like, well, I don't see that as an improvement. No, it is.
No, it's
There's
more
no
like a
Alex-
hot fix, if anything. Like,
Yeah.
they want to make all these changes, but if you want to improve the league and add little hot fixes here and there, tinker a little bit. But if you come up from one season to the next and you throw down 3 major changes, you could very well crush the AGLA and crumble us. Like, we already are at, I think, some of the lowest numbers we've had in a while for pro players. All
You're
the
up.
zombie players and everything else.
It's
You know,
opposite. Like,
what?
well, unless you're talking about specifically pro
I'm
players.
talking
like, we're
about.
the-
I'm just talking about
like, if you're
Halo,
talking about like
Griffball
the
in
high
general.
caliber. Like,
Yeah,
we're
pro.
not in the golden age of having like Snipe Down and like the top captains playing each other.
I'm talking
We're
about all the kids that started in Halo 4 and the good
Oh, yeah.
kids and everything else and Halo 3 and all that other junk. We're practically down to bare minimum. If I'm starting in pro, it's fucked. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's at the point where we're waiting for the next Halo to come out and all the fucking people are going to come back. You know what I'm saying? So if something happens like this next season, a lot of us might just say fuck Griffball for a season and not sign up. And you don't want that to happen. That'll be very bad.
I felt like if they reset the rosters and they get rid of contracts and they do stuff like that, I feel like they're gonna lose at least like 4 or 5 like top players. And if you lose 4 or 5 top players in this already, I'm not gonna say it's watered down yet, because this season was very competitive and it was the most competitive season yet. But if you were to lose, like, I'm going to give examples, but like, I'm not saying these people have any reason that they're going to quit. But like, if like me, Silva, Nets, Gingy, Taylor Cannon, like one other person left, like, who is going to care who wins when those people are in league? Like, when Night Down left, I was like, God damn it. Like, now there's like, no, there's still some people, but now there's nobody that's just like, no, I need to fucking kid. Like, this kid cannot beat me. There's nobody like that anymore. Now every game is just like, oh yeah, good game, man. Yeah, good game. You guys did really good. Like, nah, there's no more like, yo, I'm gonna destroy you. You're terrible. So let's get into this game, and I'm gonna beat your ass in the championship, and then I get 9 outs. But like that, I don't care. Like, it was so fun to have the competition. Like, we lost Snipe, we lost Crusader. Like, if we were to lose like 4 or 5 more top caliber players, the meaning of the ship would like decrease so much, because like, oh, you want a ship in a watered down league without like 6 of the best players even playing right now, so why does it matter?
Well, not only that, think about the trickle effect where 6 of the top pros leave, then just say, for example, you're like, what's the point of even playing anymore? So then you don't play, and then since Shadow's not playing, I'm like, I don't have a chance to be on Shadow's team. I don't want to fucking go throw myself in the bid pool. I don't sign up.
Like, if Silva doesn't play, like, he's gonna have a good group of following who's probably not gonna play too, because like, I felt like the same thing for Kid Tonga. If Kid Tonga left, you'd probably lose some. If I left, you'd probably lose some. It's just people who are still around because they want to play with their friends. That's, I feel like that's like 60-40 or 70-30 for me. Like, I want to play with people I enjoy it with. That's probably the 70%. And then 30% is, I want to win more ships. So it's like, at the same time, it's like, I want to get the people who I'm playing with more ships, but I want to have fun at the same time. And being in the bid pool sucks. Like, this is the second time I was in the bid pool. The first time I didn't care, because it was new and I had no idea what was going to go on. But now I was in the bid pool and I'm like, oh God, like, I could end up on a team that's just terrible. Not like terrible skill wise, but like just terrible to like people are mad all the time or screaming during games or getting mad at each other. I can't do that. Like, I don't care.
You could get yourself some pretty shitty situations. I've been on that end, all right?
Like, we can run down through the teams right now and then go through this season, and probably we need to get it done in like 7 minutes, because we're already at 43 minutes. Oh yeah. So this season, 4-0, got rated 40 for his TCV, and he got Thunder for 70, which is amazing. Mango for 10, which is amazing. He dropped 390 on Sab, and then grabbed 1 Hawk and World War. I didn't expect this team to be great. I expected them to be decent because I have Sab and Thunder. And they ended up 18-6 with the second best record in the league, and made it to playoffs, and then ended up losing to one-hit wonders in 2 games. 4-0 was possibly going to pick me up. So far, he had suggested it, and at the time, it was me, him, and Thunder. And I was like, yeah, I have no problem playing for you, whatever. But he's like, I currently have Sab right now. And I was like, okay, well, the only other person who's going to go for Stab is going to be Nets, and Nets currently has me. So we're kind of at a standstill. Two other people offered to pick me up, but if they picked me up, they were only going to, they're like, hey, I have 250 credits for you. Or the next guy was like, I have 290 credits for you. And I was like, well, 4-0 has 300 and X amount of credits for me. So if you bid on me, then Nets is going to take Stab, and then 4 is going to take me, so you won't end up getting me anyway. So that's how I ended up on Next Dimension. Next Dimension was Nets Pride for 100, me for 170, Oh My Godless for 10, Silent Shadow for 160, Go Tanks for 10, and Doc Sword for 10. So we had 3 10-credit players, and actually the most, we have 140 credits that we didn't use in there. So I think that's a testament to saying, I don't think spending all your credits matters, but if you just build a good team around a few core players, it works out better. Alpha Turtle still had Ace, and he still had. Oh no, and then he just grabbed 10
That's
credits.
all he had.
Yeah, he just grabbed only Thresh, who is RDG, which worked out really well. He grabbed Moose for 110, which worked out really well, and then he grabbed you and beamed me up.
Mm-hmm.
They went 16 and 8, and came in as the wild card, and then they ended up losing to One Hit Wonders as well, which shocked me because I thought if anyone was going to be One Hit Wonders, it was going to be Retro. They took them to 3 games. It was good to watch, but
I honestly think if I were to play in those games, we might have had a better chance. Because I beat up on One Hit Wonders. Like, it's like the first thing we learned as a team in the season. It's like, oh, if we go against One Hit Wonders, play me, sit Turtle. This is like one of the biggest situations, just play style wise, how we matched up and stuff. And we lose playoffs, and like 2 weeks later, like I still didn't know we were out of playoffs, and I was like, when the fuck are we gonna get this playoff game started? Like, oh, we're out. The fuck you talking about, Brad? He's like, oh, we lost playoffs. It's like, oh, thanks for letting me know, Toast, motherfucker.
I know. So it was a decent season for them again. Just like last season, they came up just short. They lost in 3 games. Does anybody know if they used Hoot Toast for game 1 and 3?
I'd assume so.
I would assume that's what they did. One Hit Wonders had the top seed, even though they had a worse record, but they won their division. So if what I'm thinking is correct, they used Hoot host game 1 and 1. Host switched to I'm not sure who, but they got like dominated game 2. Like Alpha dropped like more positive than anyone else, so he must have been loving it. And then they switched back to Hoot host game 3, and won. So Lightsaber, the like unluckiest guy when it comes to teams. I swear to God. He was 70 credits. He got Razor for 10, Winter Moose for 30, Priest for 180, Kemp for 200, and Diablo for 10. They ended up going 3 and 21.
They were talking so much shit. I'm so glad they got wrecked. Good. Anyway.
I feel bad because he was one of the ones that was going to try and pick me up too, but like he wasn't even going to be able to get me because if he bid on me, then 4 would have got me, and he was a nice enough guy to be like, well, I'm not just going to purposely screw you, because luckily Nets had a lot of credits. So anytime anyone was like, hey, I'm possibly going to grab Shadow, and he's like, yeah, if you grab Shadow, I'm going to grab everybody you have, and they're like, oh, never mind. So luckily Nets having a lot of credits was kind of like, hey, you don't screw me over, I won't screw you over. So luckily that's how I stayed so cheap, I guess.
Shadow
Silva,
cheated, basically. He's a cheater.
I don't really think it's too much of
no,
a
you're not a cheater. I just
like,
find it funny that kids are still going to speculate no matter what you do.
And they're like, they purposely look like, oh, I'm going to bid up this player, just because I know somebody wants him or whatever. AJ Cena, and I know Nets bid AJ up to 90. Sorry, Nets, if you don't want me to say that. He bid AJ up to 90 because he knew Silva would be trading on him. But like, yeah, we were just kind of with the mentality like, you don't screw us over, and we won't take your players. So, I guess that's the advantage you have with the more credits you have. But Silva was at 130 for CCV, had Itays on contract, and grabbed he grabbed T-Rich, Twisted Status, Sumi, and AJ. So basically went back into the season with the exact same lineup he had last season, which seemed like a decent idea because they made it to the conference championship and barely lost to Impulse.
I mean, they didn't have Herman though, right? Like,
no, they didn't have him the season before. They literally the lineup they ran in the playoffs was Silva, Itays, T-Rich and AJ.
Right.
T-Rich dropped from like 180 down to 10, assuming because other captains didn't assume they'd play for him, and he probably wouldn't. But that's just what you get when you have a bid league, which some people don't like. I don't blame the people. It's I don't know. It's just how it is. That's just my viewpoint on it. It's just people want to play at the top caliber, or the top level, and they also don't want to play with people they don't like. I don't know. That's just how it is. That's their opinion. It's just a flaw for the bid league, and it always will be. Twisted says didn't play much. Sumi played, and he was decent. He wasn't bad.
When I played him, I shit on his face, but sure.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, he still came in after not playing Halo 4 at all, and still competed probably at a level better than Andy, but just not better as good as like middle caliber pros.
Well, yeah.
So, I guess it's impressive in itself that you can just show up, play a few times, and be better than most AMEs, but at the same time just not be able to hang with people who had been playing for like an entire year already, which is obvious. When he came back in Reach, it was at least within the first few seasons still. So, I mean, I'd still say it's impressive, but yeah. And then they ended up 16-8, winning Division 1, and they lost to Next Dimension in 2 games in the playoffs. Second game going to a 4-4. So it was a close match between us and them in game 2. I already talked about Next Dimension. One Hit Wonders. Rage took over captaining when I died, and kept Decleak, which was a great idea.
Yeah. Decleak did so good this season. He got so much better.
My God.
Yes, he did. Shout out to him.
Yes. I want to take all the credit for grabbing him last season.
Yeah?
Yep.
Decleak. Oh, okay.
He grabbed Solus for 270, Ice Cards for 70, Venom for 80, and Raid for 10. I did not think this team would be successful. I want to be 100% honest. I don't know why. I was like, they swapped out me and Pig with Solus and Ice Cards. I don't see how they can be successful, but somehow it worked. It looks like Solus and Ice Cards fit into the way One Hit Wonders plays, and Solus gets the absolute most ridiculous sword lunges, and they're stupid.
They are ridiculous.
They ended up 15-9, winning their division. Made it to the championship, beating Retroactive and Bomb Squad, beating Retroactive in a best of 3, and beating Bomb Squad in 2 games to make it to the championship. They did not win, but that makes it so they have been in playoffs all 4 times, making it to the championship 3 out of 4, but only winning 1 out of 3. So, not the greatest championship.
So they're the first place losers of Halo 4.
They're the separate intelligence of Halo 3. They just make it to the championship. I'm surprised Taylor Kane's not on that team. All right, Pro Run, Digital Pain at 150, Man Cannon at 50, Yug at 20, Rick D. Silent at 300, Love So Pure at 10, Blue Collar Kid at 10. Ended up going 7-17. Probably by far the biggest disappointment on the season. Digital Pain, RIP, like halfway through the season. Wasn't putting up good numbers. They weren't playing well as a team. They weren't playing well with Rick. I don't understand why they put 300 on him and decided to go that route. I don't. I said it when they picked him up. I said I don't understand that decision at all. They just got too hyped up on he played well against us in the ship. 1 game don't matter. I can drop like plus 40 in a game, and then the next game drop like -20. It's just how it happens. So it didn't work out for them. Digital Pain just kind of dropped off. Says he's going to be back when Master Chief Collection comes around. So I don't know. It was a really disappointing.
Another one of those, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot of people doing that. Like, oh, screw Connection. I'm coming back when it's not Connection. Okay. Gingy for Hybrid Theory took over Hybrid Theory. Got rated 160. Grabbed Taylor Kane for 100. Red Baron for 20. Exiled Dragon for 40. Killers at 30. And Silent Viper at 190. Gingy was the other captain who was possibly going to grab me and pick me up. Because before he grabbed Viper, he still had 250, but Nets was hoarding out credits, and there was nothing he could do. This team, I went 16-8, lost to Notorious in a best of 3. They were in Division 2, the ridiculous division, with us, Hybrid Theory, and Impulse all having like 16, 17, 18, 20 wins, something like that. Yeah, it was ridiculous. I didn't even go over Impulse. speak to that. Impulse ended up being 15-9. I'll go over them in a second. But Hybrid Theory, Division 2, or apparently whatever division I ever go to is always the hardest. I don't know why. But I don't know what was wrong with this team. This team, on paper, for sure, is
right.
If they're on their game,
I can tell you exactly what was wrong with the team because I played with Gingy the season before, and what he wanted more than anything was he picked up Dan, thinking that he could make him into a solid fourth player, right? Like
Dan?
trying to mold him and stuff. A whole season, wanted to play with Dan, and that didn't work out.
Yeah, who's Dan?
What?
Oh, Exile Dragon?
Dragon, sorry.
Oh, okay.
You don't know who Dan is?
I don't know who Dan is. I don't know. No.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry, we don't ever use first names, Chris. My bad. So, and then Killers had to step up, and then Dan had to take, or Dragon had to take the bench. Taylor Can played like what? Taylor Can played like shit, and then his only hope and savior was Sniper Kid. I'm pretty sure he had Sniper Kid, right?
Silent Viper.
Silent Viper was the diamond in this piece of shit team that no one saw coming. He is at his top of his game. He's always been such an annoying little kid, and now he's finally like somewhat moderate, decent enough to help Gingy into winning some games.
Yeah, I don't. We were sitting there. We had a lot of we had about 320 or something credits left after he already had me and Godless. So we already had like our core. We felt like we just needed like a tank, and we were like, all right, we got like Silent Shadow, Viper, No Plex, Gambit, and like a couple other people on the table, and we decided to go with Silent Shadow because we were like, okay, we're gonna have to deal with the betrayals, we're gonna have to deal with lack of communication, all that stuff. But like I was like, yo, listen, like I'll work with him. We'll work with him. I feel like I can pretty much train anybody at this point, and not train them, but just get everybody on the same page, coach them, I guess, or whatever you want to say. And then about like halfway through the season, when Silent Shadow hadn't played like one game, he'd been really busy with work and stuff going on IRL. We were like, shit, like we're gonna have to run through the season with Go Tanks, which Go Tanks ended up working out really well for us. And like without Go Tanks, we would not have made playoffs because Go Tanks stepped up, and my God. But like when we ended up playing, like if we had to go into the playoffs with him, we just didn't have the tanking power. I was literally the lead tank on our team, which is saying something because I usually go negative. So
to be fair though, your tanking got a lot better this season. So
well, yeah.
I mean, I felt like what you did is because like I noticed when we played on One Hit Wonders, you would pull out your sword a lot. And then you would get killed. And I noticed this season, or like playing on Watching On, you wouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah,
so
I had to change the way I played. I guess it gave me a reason to start playing different. Was like, it's a new team. The team needs me to do something different, so I have to focus on different things. So I have to step up tanking. So I worked on a few things, tanking wise, and Nets worked on a few things tanking wise, and it really all turned around when we went to RTX, and me, Godless, and Zach, Silent Shadow, who were all on the same team for AGLA, got to play an entire weekend together on LAN. So we all got on the same page. We played like 50, 60 games together, which is generally how many, I'm assuming, even between customs and league games, how many you would probably play with a teammate over the course of an entire season. We got to play all on a weekend. So we all got used to the way each other plays, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm good to come back like right now. And then as soon as we got him back, we didn't lose the game except for that one game of the ship, and he's dropping like plus 30 and 40 every game, and no betrayals, no awareness issues, and everything worked out fine. So it looked like we were like, oh, maybe we should have grabbed somebody more available, but can't really complain now because we won.
Results.
Yeah.
All right, Boss Tycoon at 90 for CCV, grabbed Easy at 410, and then grabbed Apocryphal, Mr. Crowbar, Sket, and Mike. Don't understand that roster at all. They only went 16. Boss Tycoon rage quit, so he's done. Then T-Rain at 140, kept Amber and Michael, then grabbed Denny Macpot, Yo Dr. Green's Martin, Chocolate Tiger, ended up 9-15. This team could have made Division 4 really interesting if Martin didn't RIP. Between Retro and Bomb Squad and then this team, Division 4 was looking like a Division 2. But
did Chocolate Tiger play? Like
No,
this season?
no, I don't know why either. Because when we played them, and we were playing T-Rain, Amber, and Michael Martin with Chocolate Tiger running, it was like a really good team. Like we swapped games with them, and it was pretty close matches in in some scrims, and I thought they were going to be a really decent team. But then once Martin died, the team kind of just fell apart, obviously. So, at the end of the season, oh yeah, sorry, Kid Tonga, 100 credits, kept Infection, grabbed Fearless 5, no, he had Fearless 5, and he grabbed Zeg, Gambit, and Noplex. And then their starting lineup was like Noplex, Gambit, Infection, Tonga. Pretty decent team. Went 15-9. They dropped off at the end of the season, not really pulling it out. It was a decent team. Just I don't know, just didn't match up well, I guess. With
Oh, did Infection quit? Didn't he quit or something? Somebody said something.
Well, the last night it was like a winner go home thing. Like I guess he had plans that he couldn't get out of something, but he didn't show up to like the game that meant whether they make playoffs or not. So that kind of screwed him over. I don't know if that means he's quitting completely, but either way, for our side, we played against Notorious after they beat Hybrid Theory. We beat them game 1 5-1 or 5-0, and then they came back and made it 4-4 in the next game. They didn't like Ace's host. That was apparent. And we won. Then that got us to the ship, bringing Next Dimension to the first ship they played in. Brought Next Dimension to the first playoff berth they've ever had. And then One Hit Wonders shocked everyone and just beat everybody in playoffs, beat Retro and beat Bomb Squad to make it to the ship. I did not expect it to be anywhere near as close as it was. But then again, like I told my teammates before the game, this is just how it is. I underestimate every single person I ever play. I never expect to lose because that's how I am. So we got into a custom right before the game. You were in it, Pig, and like we just weren't playing well at all. And I was like, and then so I told him to stop the game. We stopped the custom, and I was like, all right, we can't go into a championship having played this way we played. So just everyone stop playing for a little bit, and that kind of carried over into game 1, where we got 6-0'd in about 10-15 minutes on our choice of host. And I was like, well, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I was just like, guys, what is going on right now? I was like, all right, like, whatever. Let's make this a close game. Let's step up at the end of the game and see if we can possibly influence them to change the host. Let's just start making it look like we're getting our groove and anything. And then I don't know how it works. And it's not, I don't think we tricked them into switching, but they wanted to go with their host that they've won on in playoffs, which I like because I like picking a host that my team plays good on rather than picking a host that the other team played bad on. That's just how I like to do it. But so they switched, and like I sent a text like the minute they were like, yeah, we're gonna bring in Huanani. I'm like, oh my god, they're switching hosts. My god, like this might just save us because anytime you lose a game, you want to switch something. I don't care what it is. If you just lost, you can't keep the same host or the same lineup. You've got to switch up something. It's not just gonna be like, oh, this team's gonna be magically different. No, you've got to switch up something. They switched it up. They go up 3-2. I don't know. Cal last night on the Hubcast was talking about my pep talk between game 1 and 2. I don't remember what it was. All he said he remembered me saying was, "I don't lose ship, so let's fucking go," or something. Something like that. I probably said.
I don't know, but he's your biggest fanboy, dude. It almost makes me sick to the stomach.
Yeah, but at the same time, he was sitting there rooting for One Hit Wonders. So I don't know what to say. Can't believe it. But yeah, I'm the best to root for. But so we go into game 2. It's 4-4, and like Solus lags out a bunch of times. Our first goal they were possibly going to dispute because Solus black screened while Nets was killing him. That led to D-Cleek losing the ball. Well, we don't know if it led to D-Cleek losing the ball, but he did. It could have been argued that Solus possibly could have gotten a kill if he didn't black screen. We got the turnover and scored within a few seconds. So it was a messy situation for game 2 that they were possibly going to dispute. They decided against it, which I don't know if I would have done if I was in their situation because I hate losing. I know they do too. So it brought a little bit of negativity in towards the championship, and it's between people I like. So it sucks having a different opinion than somebody you like and being like, nah, I don't think that's disputable. And they're like, I think it is. in their situation, I probably would have thought it was disputable, but I don't know if it would have gone through. I don't know if I was looking at it objectively, if I would have agreed that that should be overturned or not. But needless to say, it doesn't matter because they didn't dispute. So
I mean, and we should give a shout out to Rage because like in the watching our group chat, he was like, the reason he said he didn't dispute it was because the way that he had been doing disputes this season, like it's too hard to prove a black screen on film.
it's
I
too
think
hard
that's
to
what he said.
like, it's too hard to prove that Solus black screening would have led to anything different than what happened. It was too hard to prove that Solus black screening meant he could have gotten the kill and then maybe could have spawned and
Right.
possibly pushed out the tank push, but like you don't know if it actually would have affected anything at all, and if it's not guaranteed and the black screen didn't directly result in the ball turning over and directly result in the score. That's always the way I looked at it when I was doing disputes. Was if it didn't directly impact and it wasn't 100% guaranteed, then you don't know. And it sucks that Solus does black screen so often. But I know we were really frustrated, as Next to mention. It's like with somebody black screening that much, it just keeps throwing the momentum of the game into different areas. But I remember it being 4-4 in game 2, and I was like, literally, if we win this, I think Silva even texted me. He's like, "Yo, you gotta win this game. If you win this game, you're good." I was like, exactly. If we win this 4-4, we get our host choice back, and we also get to go into game 3 with momentum and our host choice, and we're playing better. So I mean, like if we win this game right now, we're good. And I don't remember exactly how game 2 came out. I'm gonna put that up on YouTube at some point. But I don't remember exactly how we scored. But I remember we tanked it in, won the game, chose Minion, who we thank again because she doesn't even like really play Griffball anymore, I don't think, but she came around to help us neutral host. So she came in, we neutral hosted, we went up 3-0. Somebody's got a really important phone call.
Yeah.
We went up 3-0. They came back 3-2, pretty sure. We went up 4-2. And then they brought it back to 4-4. Solus got another ridiculous lunge. Solus got a ridiculous lunge in both games when we were up 4-3 both times and tied the game 4-4. Luckily, we kept our composure after them tying it up 4-4 off 2 defensive plays. Because if you get a defensive play for a goal, it's a lot more of a morale boost rather than just like a tanking. But so they tie it up. And then we end up winning in a really undramatic fashion. It was just like a couple bad out of position spawns mixed with like one person dead, and we just had a lane up the middle to score. So it wasn't really the most dramatic finish, but it was probably the best series for the bid league to watch so far.
Yeah, by far, that was the best. That was the best series by far.
People were talking about that in terms of like, was that the best series ever? Which I don't think that beats the Grammaton Cleric series.
I love the Grammaton Cleric series.
That came all down to 4-4s every single game, so that's very hard to do. And I'm always in them, and I hate it. Like they're not fun. They're not like during them they're not fun. I guess they're fun to look back on if you've won. And luckily, if I've ever lost lately, it's just been a straight up 8-1 and 9-0. So it was just like, whatever, nothing I can do. Game over. Okay.
I win all the nail biters or I get wrecked.
I win all the nail biters or I just completely get steamrolled, and I like it like that. I guess like if I'm gonna lose, just all right, that was fine. I just got 8-1 and 9-0. Whatever. Let's do the podcast. But if I had gone through that and then like one game 6-0 and then just lost 2 5-4s in a row, being one game away, they handled it very, very mature. I don't know I don't even know.
Professionally?
I guess so. Like I when I was texting them, I was like, I feel so bad. I don't know how you guys are handling this so well, but it's refreshing that I guess we're all friends and that everything stayed friendly, even though we had a difference of opinion on whether literally a championship decision goal was being made. It sucks that between 2 teams that like each other that something like that had to happen. But either way, it was a great series to play in. I'm glad that they did so well without me, I guess. Because obviously, you know, I'm arrogant and whatnot and think no matter if I leave somewhere, they're going to be worse without me. But like this team really wasn't. So, I mean, yeah, GG to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GG one hit wonders.
GG one hit wonders.
First place
GG.
losers this season. Good job.
Oh, nice.
We're pushing it on time right now.
Well, we've pushed it pretty far. I mean, we've recapped a shit ton
Yeah.
in our absence of 7 months. And I'd
Okay,
say
so-
that's pretty fucking good.
Good.
For the first episode back. Sorry in
I'm gonna give us
advance
about-
again.
Yeah, sorry in advance. I'm going to give us about 5 more minutes of stuff before shoutouts and all that fun stuff. RTX happened. There's a really good turnout. A lot of teams. They had the first ever LAN championship on league settings. We got to play on the Iron Gaming stage. Me, Man Cannon, Silent Shadow, and Godless won. We beat Green Army Junior. Got to meet Golden Boy, who announced our game. That was pretty cool. He's a really good announcer. Him and Goose announced it. We won Razer headsets that I'm actually using right now to do the podcast. It's working out pretty well, so now I don't have to hold a mic. After that, we had the season. Went on to win the championship. We're going into next season. Hopefully, I'm still on Next Dimension. Pig is coming back to play AGLA, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I'm
Yeah,
coming
there
back.
she is. Don't bid on her because we want to get her.
Oh, yes.
I'm bidding her up, dude.
Please don't.
Not a captain, you know.
I don't care. You don't think I have influence over anyone that's going to be a captain? You
Please
don't think I
don't.
have the power? Trust me. No, I'm just
Shadow, why? Oh.
No, well, I don't know. If I'm not on Next Dimension, then I don't know what's gonna happen. But I better be.
I can't
So-
I can't see them denying the contracts. I just can't do it.
Wait,
I don't think they
wait,
will.
what?
What do
Oh,
you mean, what?
okay, never mind. What we covered. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
we covered it.
You're
Sure.
good. You just go listen to it again after. You'll get it.
Alright,
Just a few
perfect.
times. I'll mark it for you where it is. I'm gonna start putting these up on YouTube so they're directly available, and then I'm also gonna send the Audacity link to Goose in case she wants to put it on the site as the way they used to do it. But so that's gonna be the temporary way of doing it. It's gonna be out quicker, and it's gonna rely less on Goose having to do stuff because I know Cal's gone and she's busy because she actually has like a full-time doctoring. I don't know exactly what she does. It's like psychiatry. I don't know. Whatever she does takes up a lot of her time. I don't want to take up too much of her time and be waiting for a podcast to come out. So I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'm running through this all really quick. I know. Okay. I also had some stats that I was going to go over the connectivity thing that I'm doing, which is go post your speed test if you're a pro player. Sorry, Amy's. I know. I'm just trying to get a sample group. Pro players, go post your speed test in the forums. Trying to get a discussion going about whether connection does matter or not, considering the Master Chief Collection is coming out and there's going to be dedicated servers. But we definitely don't have time to talk about that this podcast, so I'll talk about that next one. The Necessary Evils AGLA top 25 players poll is out again, so go take that. If you're listening to this and you don't go take that, you're stupid.
You dumb.
The MVP voting is still up. If you don't vote for me, don't vote at all.
He's so worse when he's not an admin anymore. He's back. He's back.
back.
Yeah, it's
If
good.
the AGLA All Stars got announced, Hammer Conference tanks are Gingy, Infection, E-Taste, and Taylor Can. Hammer Conference hybrids are Shadow S16, Major Silva, Nets Pride, and Easy 08. Hammer Conference runners are Kid Tonga and Godless. That's a hell of a team. I'm on it. Sword Conference tanks, Ace Be Silent, Infinite Rain, Moose, Man Cannon, Sword Conference hybrids, Rage More Nerd, Sab, Sabosaurus Rex, Solus, and D-Cleek. Yeah, boy, D-Cleek. Sword Conference runners, Thunder, Alpha Turtle. I think it's pretty clear that the Hammer Conference is going to win. So congratulations to all them who made it. MVP voting is still coming out. At some point, they still have to announce team awards and player awards, which I don't think we've gotten any information on yet. Yes, the MVP voting is still up. I just checked. There's also a Summer League 14 feedback survey on how the admins did. Like we've already talked about, I think that they did fairly well. I think they have a few things to work on, but pretty much every admin team will have something to work on. Nobody's perfect. So yeah, go post about that, and then also go when you give them feedback, go post about not resetting rosters because that's stupid. No reasonable reason to do it, and that's it. No, there's no reason to do it. All All right. Yeah. So you guys got anything that I missed, you missed to touch on before at some point we do this again? I don't know if we're gonna keep doing this the way we have, where we have a different guest on. Maybe we'll start having some static guests, whoever's available. Um, I don't know. I don't know.
That is.
Hopefully, we'll do more than one.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we do more than one every 6 months. That was always one thing that was like on our minds, or at least on my mind. With Shadow being my co-host, I was like, well, we need a new guest every week. And me and Shadow would be good to record at like 2 a.m. because his hours or whatever he could do it. And then I was like, all right, we have to find a guest, and no one's around. Or if someone is around, it's someone who we had last week, and it's like, oh fuck. So maybe we'll be a little more lenient on who our guests are and just not give a shit. So that actually is a pretty good idea.
Yeah, and also, sorry if you don't get chosen as a guest ever. We're pretty picky about who we have as guests, and
I'm not gonna. Yeah, shout out to anyone else who's making podcasts out there. You guys do a great job, but I'm not just gonna be like, oh, you want to be on the podcast? No problem. Come on, that's dumb.
Our podcast is the way it is. I was hesitant about doing another podcast because there are so many out, but
sorry in advance.
Sorry in advance. Our
Just gonna
podcast
keep
is sorry in advance. That might be the
It's the catchphrase.
Our official catchphrase, or
Yes.
this is literally the sorry in advance podcast.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, at least something we say on here is gonna offend multiple people.
So
Probably why it's so interesting to listen to. But like, and the good thing is, like, we don't care that much, so it works out really well. So yeah, there's some other stuff I had written down here, but there's no possible way we should go past what we're at right now, which is an hour and 16 minutes. So we should go into shout outs. Who will start with Pig? I already feel like I've talked way too much this podcast, but
hey man, you're the topic man. You had to run it, so you did it.
Good job. Shout out to you guys for having me on again.
Sure.
Please.
All right.
Oh, you know what?
All right. I'll edit that out.
done.
AKA joking.
No,
that's in there. But
no,
go ahead, start your shout out over again.
No. Okay. All right. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for having me on. Shout out to admins. Despite everything I might have just said, you did a really good job this season. Really competitive season it seemed. So good job. I know it's hard. Shout out to Moose, who I think might be dead forever. Bye Moose. And shout out to D-Cleek, because he just did amazing. He did so good this season. He just improved a lot, and he deserves it. So good job.
We need a most improved player award, admin.
I agree. That would be good. Okay, I'm done.
All right, J-Bar, you're up.
Shout out to the rest of the shout outs for as long as I do the AGLA podcast or the Sorry in Advance podcast will be called Shubius.
Oh my god, please.
That's a shout out to everyone who's gonna listen to this. Hopefully there'll be many more, and thank you for tuning in to the Sorry in Advance podcast.
I really like it. I really like that.
Catchy.
Shout out to Nets Pride, Godless. Extra shout out to Go Tanks for being a sport and helping us make playoffs, but then not being upset when we pulled in Silent Shadow. We would not have made playoffs without Go Tanks. So extra shout out to him. Shout out to Silent Shadow for making time to win a ship and dropping plus 40 in that last game. And then shout out to Doc Sword, who gave Halo 4 a shot, didn't like it, but decided to stick it out with our team anyway. It was fun playing with you for like a few games. Shout out to Lightsaber and Gingy for not screwing me over before bidding and working with me. Yep. Shout out to the admins as well. I know we brought up a lot of stuff on this podcast. Not a lot of it was supposed to be negative, just supposed to be
informative.
Constructive criticism. Either way, this was a hell of a season. Ran, not a lot of issues. Some things to work on. Shout out to D-Cleek as well. He's my boy. Picked him up. Shout out to Bog Popa. Shout out to Maria, because I know she's probably really wants one, doesn't even know I'm doing this podcast right now. Does that work? I'm just gonna keep fucking going. Shout out to the hub for continuing to help us and put in X amount of hours all the time to keep whatever we have, whatever this is, going. I'm gonna just like read through all the player names. See, shout out to 4-0 for somehow building a team that was really good, and I don't understand how he does it. Shout out to Active Hate for RIPing again for like the 7th straight season. Shout out to Alpha Turtle for his terrible use of sarcasm in the forums every 10 minutes. Shout out to Lightsaber for being a sport. Shout out to Kid Tonga for not understanding why I wanted to dispute a game where I lagged out and you scored a goal because of it. Shout out to Silva for being always in playoffs all the time, no matter what team he drafts or picks up, and everyone thinks it doesn't make sense. Shout out to Rage for being a really good player, being in every ship and being a good teammate, good friend, good captain. Shout out to Digital for RIPing.
Are you gonna shout at everybody? Are you fucking serious?
I got a list. This is 7 months of no shout out. Shout out to
continue the shout outs next podcast. Oh, Jesus.
Sorry in advance. I already told you. I got clear reign to do whatever I want. T-Rain the King. Shout out to T-Rain the King for no, never mind. Nothing. All right. That's it.
Oh my God.
All right. Somebody say end the podcast the way the podcast is supposed to be ending.
Sorry for the wait, and okay, bye.
Sorry in advance is what you're supposed to say. Not sorry
But-
for sorry in advance for the wait.
There you go. Well, yeah, something. Okay, bye.
Bye.